Because if you don't play on vinyl, you're not a real DJ. Do you see any vinyl records? I only see a beautiful cat. Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Nielsen's channel. Today, guys, I'm starting a series I've wanted to do for a long time, one that took me a while to put together. I've structured it in a way that's easy for everyone to understand so that you, watching this first video, the main video, the introduction to this series, will get a clear idea of the direction I want to take with this sequence of things you absolutely need to learn. Things you need to do in order to play on the console. So if you've landed on this video, it's probably because you want to really learn how to mix, as the title says, without tricks, without a computer doing the work for you. No beep, 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 no bam, 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 no sync, no shortcuts. In short, you want to truly learn how to mix. First of all, though, let me introduce myself. Who am I to come and tell you I can play and you can't? Well, I'm Manuel in art and reason. And the cat is getting out of the way. It's called Jack in honor of the headphone jack. His sister is called Puntina, in honor of the needles on record players. Trust me, I'm really obsessed with this environment. And despite this camera being at the height of my elbow, my chin, but I'm not lying to you, in this extremely serious video, I'll explain who I am, what I do, how we'll use the technique to show you how to mix. What is this flickering? 1 second, okay? In theory, we should have fixed it. In practice, I don't think so. Well, let's see. Anyway, let's move on with this first statement because damn it, no, I can't record an entire series like this. Hold on a second. Okay, I think at this point we've really fixed it. But I don't know, we'll find out as we go along. Anyway, speaking about the vinyl issue. So guys, look behind my back. Look here. You have no idea how much money I spend every month on records. I'm the first one to play vinyl. Thank you. Even in clubs too. I'm the first one to bring a damn bag full of records. Those few times when it's actually possible. I do it gladly, but does it really make sense? No, guys, it doesn't make sense. Technology has moved on. Vinyl is something stuck in time from 50 years ago. Let's be clear, I've made dedicated videos about choosing vinyl, how to take care of them, and so on. And there I actually go on to explain that we're talking about an old technology. It's all mechanics, guys. Whereas in this case, everything is digital. We literally have the music stored on a USB stick. So dust, no dust, humidity, heat, sunlight, none of these factors actually affect the sound our disc produces because it's digital and it doesn't change, unlike vinyl. And remember, to all those idiots who come up to you and say, man, but seriously, if you don't play on vinyl, you don't seem like a real DJ. You should reply, excuse me, but how many years ago did your DJ career end? When you do the math in 2025. It doesn't make sense to learn on vinyl anymore because it just slows you down. If you have passion and the desire to do this, after you've understood and grasped the basics, like beat matching on CDJs, that's when you'll naturally start to feel the urge to try vinyl. In short, vinyl just makes your life harder. The point isn't what you play with, but how you play, okay? There are entire DJ sets literally done live with controllers by extremely famous DJs who get paid thousands, well, not millions, but thousands of euros for their DJ sets. Don't listen to those old folks who keep nagging you about vinyl, okay? Here, we're serious about this. In fact, that's why now we're going to talk about equipment. Because you will definitely need some equipment to start playing. Now, don't let it go to your head. You don't need something as professional as mine. When it comes down to it, we're talking about a compact setup here that's worth 2,000 euros, guys. That's a lot. And here on the sides, you're seeing two CDJ 350s, which is a pair you can find for around 400 euro, but you don't even need that. Honestly, even a 200 euro controller, one of those consoles you connect to your computer, will work just fine. Of course, you already need to have a computer, but it doesn't even have to be a high-performance one, really. The fact is, even with a 200 euro controller, you can easily start playing as long as you keep in mind that sync will help you at first, but sooner or later it will make you mess up. We'll get to that. Over the course of this series, I'll explain. Also, it's always better to learn to play by ear rather than by sight, if you know what I mean. Having a screen in front of you that tells you the track's speed, that shows you when the beats are lined up, let me point it out to you, like here, for example. Now I'm going to load another track onto deck 2. It doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's very convenient, very useful to have these little red markers. Let's zoom in so you can see it better. Okay, now I'm sure the two kicks are in sync, but how do you know? How do you really know? For example, that the analysis done by the Rekordbox software, because all these tracks on this console are pre-analyzed by software on a PC. We'll get to that too sooner or later. And how do you know that all these tracks Maybe here it got the first beat right and that's fine, but maybe here it didn't, maybe here it's wrong. The first beat isn't this one, but the one before. And that's something a computer can't know. Maybe artificial intelligence could. Yes, a computer can't, but a human can, especially if you're a human with, thank you, a lot of experience behind you in music, whether it's in clubs or not. So going back to the equipment issue, even a very basic controller costing 200 euros can definitely help you get started. One small feature I really recommend you have on this controller, specifically when choosing the controller itself. Well, you definitely need to have a built-in sound card, but that's something that more or less all controllers around 200 euros have it, otherwise not. For example, I remember that I started with the DJI Control MP3 to something like that, a small console about this big, literally this big, which didn't have a sound card, so you couldn't have pre-listening. What is pre-listening? What is pre-listening used for? We'll get to that, but know that pre-listening, DJ headphones are essential, guys. If you don't have headphones, you can't DJ. You can beat match tracks before bringing them in. We'll get there, we'll get there. Another thing you absolutely need to know when buying your 200 euro controller is that there are lots of models, lots of brands, lots of options. It doesn't make a damn difference, they're all the same. They all have a play button, a stop button, a cue button, a jog wheel, and a fader. It literally doesn't make a damn difference. All the consoles are the same. Guys, brands, shapes, lights, all different, but the basic concepts are always the same, okay? In this series, we'll be working on Pioneer consoles because that's the worldwide standard. So whenever you go play at any club, you'll inevitably find Pioneer equipment, or at least Pioneer CDJs. Maybe you'll come across an Allen & Heath mixer or something. Other particular brands, but when it comes down to it, Pioneer is the global standard. One important thing you need to pay attention to when buying your controller is the presence of the fader. I mean, well, the fader will definitely be there, but what I'm asking you to check is that the fader has a good range of motion. Because the goal I want you to understand with this series isn't so much about mixing or not mixing tracks, but rather that the hardest thing to learn at the beginning is beat matching two songs. And with a controller, you can just press the sync button to automatically match the tempo, right? No. Instead, you need to learn to do it by ear and by hand. A wider margin so you'll have less sensitivity on your fader. Basically, you'll have more chances to work in the right way and therefore to learn how to beat match. It's all about that. So when choosing a console, even one that costs just 200, extreme features to look for are a tempo fader that's as long as possible so you can at least be precise, and the presence of a built-in audio card, which is something obvious. But you never know if you want some personal advice. I've had quite a few controllers in my hands. I've been playing for 16 years now. 16 years ago, in fact, I got my first console, which was this little controller. I strongly recommend it if you can find it, because by now it's become almost impossible to find. The American Audio WMS 4.1, besides being an 8, a controller that also works with Virtual DJ, so with very old software, which means it runs well on computers that don't need a lot of power. All things considered, you also have a 4-channel mixer that in the future you could use to add 2 turntables or 2 external CDJs. So you can use your controller in the future as a mixer as well, without having to buy a new mixer later on. When you feel ready to take the next step, so to speak, moving from a controller to CDJs or from a controller to DVS and so on. Obviously, if you have a bigger budget, I would tell you right away. Go ahead and get yourself 2 CDJs and a mixer. Which mixer to buy, which CDJs to buy. So CDJs, Pioneer, whatever, anything you want, just buy Pioneer CDJs, whether they're the 350s like these, which are great CDJs both for starting out and for playing gigs. I've seen them many times in clubs. These CDJs won't be around anymore in 2025, but they've definitely made their mark. They read USB sticks, they read CDs, and they can also be used as controllers connected to a PC. The alternative to the 350s are the CDJ 400s. They have literally the exact same functions as the Pioneer 350s, except for one thing. The Pioneer 350s can read tracks analyzed by Rekordbox. Rekordbox is a proprietary software by Pioneer that it analyzes your tracks and then shows you on the more advanced consoles like the CDJ 2000 Nexus and later, or on the compact ones. For example, on my RX3, it lets you see all the track parameters like the waveform, the tempo, and if you go into Browse and look for any track, then press Info. Hold on, I can't find the button. Here it is. And now you have this whole series of parameters that the console displays. This series of parameters has been analyzed by Rekordbox. It's not like when you download your track from Beatport or wherever, these parameters are already there. You just have the name, the artist, maybe the label name and so on, but the key, the tonality, the tempo, all these things are missing and are added by this software. The CDJ 350s, unlike the much older CDJ 400s, can read tracks analyzed by rekordbox, while the CDJ 400s read the classic, let's say, MP3 or WAV files. Anyway, moving on to the choice of mixer, because of course, a console made up of CDJs also needs a mixer. I would say that any mixer is fine. The only thing is, please don't buy Behringer. I know they're cheap, I know they're very appealing because they have lots of features and cost little. But there's a reason they have so many features and are so cheap, because none of them actually work. Trust an idiot. Instead, just get even a used DJM 350, a used DJM 250. You can find one for 250, 300 euros, I mean with 400 to 500 euros. You can put together a complete setup with 2 CDJs and a mixer, even a small one. That's something I really feel like recommending to you. When choosing a mixer, make sure it has some effects, because in the end, effects are always useful. Maybe sometimes you make mistakes, maybe sometimes, no, maybe sometimes you want to go a bit overboard. Effects have your back, they save your ass, or at least let you have fun. Much more than just simple mixing in general. Then, if you really want to go all out and so on, I'd say, look, we have the chance to get myself a DJM A9, 4 CDJ 3000s and 12 turntables. Technics 1200s. So do whatever the hell you want. Why are you watching a YouTube video to learn how to play? Go take lessons from a real DJ, right? What the hell, just do whatever the hell you want. Alright guys, we've come to talk about the series itself. Now let's talk specifically about this series, which I'll call, I don't know, I called it something or other. Did you read the title of this series? I want to share with you what I've learned in literally 16 years. Guys, I mean, let's be clear. 16 years ago, I got my first console. I started playing seriously, DJing in clubs, promoting myself, and doing all the usual DJ stuff. Because remember, being a DJ isn't just about beat matching 2 tracks and making the transition. There's a whole lot of work behind it. Marketing, social media, all sorts of things. You name it, guys. There's a whole world behind it. The fact is, with the founding of my event organization, Free Techno Valley, I also started taking DJing seriously on a professional level. So, all things considered, yes, I've been playing for 16 years, but it's only been a year and a half that I've been doing it seriously. Then, of course, I like playing with a compact setup. I like playing with CDJs. I like playing with keyboards. I just like playing live with machines, whether analog or digital, drum machines, digital basses. Basically, guys, I'm a bit weird. I like cables, and having said that, I want to share this passion of mine with anyone who wants to get into this world. Disclaimer. This series is based on techno, or at least on genres where you really need to learn how to mix. Because if we're talking about commercial music, guys, don't take it the wrong way, really. Don't take it the wrong way. But when it comes to mixing commercial music, just pressing stop and start on the other side of the console, anyone can do that, right? Let's be honest. Techno, or these more underground genres, psytrance, hardcore, these are things where you really need to mix, where literally, for a good stretch of time, there are 2, 3, even 4 tracks blended together coming out of the speakers. It takes skill, it takes technique, and time to learn. No bullshit, no messing around. Here in this series, you'll always find only the truth, just like Nielsen does, basically. I always tell you things exactly as they are, or at least as I see them. Got it? Right? So let's get to talking about the series itself. How is this thing going to be structured? Well, it's actually very simple. Once this series of about 8 episodes is finished, then we'll see as we go along what comes out of it, you'll be able to do a transition. You'll be able to make a clean, well-done transition with great timing, but you'll have a basic level of mixing. Because when it comes down to it, each of us, after learning the basics, literally the basics of mixing, so cut the bass, raise the volume, gradually fade the frequencies, and remove the track that's ending, let's say that each of us will then add our own personal style to the mixing. And at that point, I can't teach you anything more, you'll be the one teaching yourself. This series will be structured into a certain number of episodes, and each episode will have its own category. For example, the first episode, which will be the next one, will literally talk about loading the track into the CDJ, the deck, and so on, because it might seem trivial. But there's already a song playing, and the song you have to play next needs to have something to do in some way with the song that's already playing, the one the audience is already listening to. I hope I'm making myself clear. So, the choice of the song, the choice of the track to play next, it's not something you should just take for granted. This, for example, will be the next episode, so the choice of the track depends on the DJ set you want to do, depending on the night, that you'll have to go and play and so on. Also, why did I mention that there are 8 episodes? Because I give live DJing lessons, okay? And the people who come to me to learn, I've basically made life easier, starting right from scratch, by literally breaking down the transition from one track to another into 8 steps. 4 of these are done while working with headphones. So literally, you put on your headphones and work with them for 4 steps. Then you take off the headphones and keep working. For the next 4 steps, so steps 5, 6, 7, and 8, you use the studio monitor. In this case, we have this speaker here. I'll give you a brief list of the episodes that will be coming up so I can convince you to subscribe. Well, you know. So episode 1, load the right track. Episode 2, find and save the first beat. Episode 3, volumes and gain. Episode 4, play in time, syncing the track to the tempo. And these 4 steps, let's say, are the ones you do with headphones. Then you move on to the steps you do with monitors. Episode 5, mixed, maybe a bit together with episode 6, so maybe there won't actually be 8 episodes. But then there will be some extras, so episode 5, cut the bass. This is really something basic. Episode 6, gradually raise the volume of the incoming track, and if you notice any discrepancies between the beats, correct them with the jog wheel if necessary. Episode 7, equalization done in time with the beat. Episode 8, close the mix by letting the track that's ending fade out. Then, in fact, here I've already noted down some things like DJ skills to level up, how to use effects properly, or how to prepare a DJ set, how to play in a club. These will all be extra episodes that, once the series is finished, if you feel like doing them, or maybe upon your request, let me know. We'll do them. Basically, we'll do everything. So, folks, I'd say we can wrap up this video here, because even though it was just a simple introduction, we've actually talked quite a lot. So, I'll see you in the next episode where we'll go and pick the track. All right, sound good? Sounds good? Let's go, brother.